I know people love to declare different marketing strategies as dead, but what if I were to tell you that your swipe file really is sort of dead? And that's what today we are going to talk about: how to revive your swipe file in a way that you probably have never thought of before. It's fun to collect these ads that you look at and just admire and wish that maybe one of your ads would make it into the Advertising Hall of Fame at some point. But today I'm going to show you how to not only upgrade these swipe files that you have, but to make them work for you in your own copywriting. And AI is going to help do it faster and smarter. And stay tuned because it's actually a lot of fun. So let's get into it. So you're listening to the High Conversion Health Marketer Podcast, the show that helps you craft memorable copy and messaging that connects, captivates, and converts. My name is Linda Malone. I am a certified conversion copywriter and the founder of The Copyworks. I'm an award-winning content writer, and my copy regularly lands my clients major contracts and high-converting landing pages and homepages. So my mission is to help you, the health and fitness marketer, attract your ideal customer with copy they can't resist so you can grow your business. So in this episode, you're going to learn how to use AI to reverse engineer great ads like the ones that you see in your swipe file and how to make these ads yours. I'm even going to break down a classic Nike ad, one of my favorites, and how to get AI to riff off of it live. So let's get to this. So I thought of this idea last week after seeing so many copywriters posting on LinkedIn and on other social media about their favorite ads. And some of them break them down, some of them just put them up there. And I've done this myself, like, hey, this is pretty cool and why it works sort of thing. But the problem is with a swipe file is it's static. It's a one size fits all approach. And so you can copy the words just like people they like copying actual copywriting from famous, past copywriters. But it can lead to imposter syndrome when you're trying to come up with your own copy. Because you're trying to do something in 5 or 10 minutes that may have taken one of those copywriters weeks, maybe even months to craft. So it's like trying to recreate the Mona Lisa when all you've ever done is paint by numbers. Okay, so what we're going to do is how is AI going to flip this script? So I'm going to start with a real ad that you may or may not have seen, and it's one of Nike's. I'm going to pull it up here on the screen. Okay, so if you're watching this on YouTube, you can see this is a woman who is doing a really heavy Olympic lift. Is a purple background, powerhouse woman, like mid-lift. She's exploding up with this barbell. It's very gritty, it's raw and emotional. The text, it's really cool the way they've done this. So it says, just don't quit. But the way they've done the typography, the words that stand out in bold spell out just do it, which, as you know, is Nike's tagline. So what I had AI do is to break down this ad into a psychological breakdown, which you can do with any ad. So it gives like a visual metaphor for grit under pressure. So the dumbbell, the weights on the end of this barbell are disintegrating as she's lifting this. There's a very strong curiosity and empowerment factor to this. And there's a strong brand tie-in as well without over-explaining. It's very, very simple, but yet super powerful. So now let's use this ad to prompt AI to create something for your own. So here's the prompt. Analyze this ad, Just Don't Quit, featuring a female weightlifter, mid-squat, weights exploding into particles. What persuasive techniques are used? And then you ask AI, now write 3 short ad headlines with similar structure and energy for a burnout recovery coaching offer for women 40 and over. Okay, so what AI comes up with is it lists the emotional triggers. And it says, just don't quit. and just do it layered in one phrase triggers curiosity and makes the viewer stop and look twice. It's a cognitive reward. Okay. So the struggle in progress, and I like this, how AI said, the image captures the moment of effort, not the celebration. So it's not like she's lifted this and everyone's like clapping or she won the award or whatever it is she's going for, but it's raw in the trenches, highly relatable to anyone pushing through something tough. So it's relatable beyond just lifting weights is the whole psychological impetus there. So, and the third part, the exploding weights, and this is according to AI, but I agree with it, it's like the emotional catharsis. So visually, metaphorical, it's the weight of expectation, pressure, or limits literally breaking apart. And then the identity reinforcement. So it's not just about athleticism, it's about being someone who pushes through. It speaks to resilience as identity, which is all about the whole just do it. And then lastly, it says minimalism and focus. There's no fluff, no explanation, there's no subtitle, there's nothing, right? Confidence in message, confidence in brand, it transfers to the viewer. So then to remix it for high achieving women, 40 or plus, who feel stuck, tired, and disconnected from themselves, the goal is to use this same punchy, bold energy without fitness metaphors to offer relief, empowerment, and action. So some of the headlines that it came up with, and I'll review these. Number one, there's actually 6 total. You don't have to push anymore. You just have to start. And I like this because it's, why it works. It flips that hustle narrative. So you don't have to push anymore. You just have to start. Recognizes that burnout is not a lack of effort, but it's the result of too much. So you just have to start. Feels like relief, possibility. And so it kind of takes the pressure off. The second headline AI came up with is you've carried everyone, now carry yourself. I don't know why this one I didn't resonate with me particularly, but it's emotionally direct. Okay. It uses the mental imagery of over responsibility. So mom guilt, work overload, etc., and reclaims it. It's not about quitting. It's about redirecting. So you've carried everyone, now carry yourself. So you're redirecting the energy. And as with most AI, when you get AI responses, you really have to go through all of them and tweak them to what works for you and what doesn't. And so number 3, burnout ends where you begin again. And so this suggests renewal. And I like that idea. So powerful contrast between something ending, which is the burnout, something beginning, that would be you beginning again. It's kind of poetic, but it's still clear. And so other ones that came up with still carrying it all, drop the weight and rise again. I mean, this one really hits. So still carrying it all, drop the weight. A lot of people feel like this, it kind of subtly mirrors the idea of being under pressure, but with a little bit of a different metaphor. So no squats here, just emotional baggage. So that's what they're really targeting. Still carrying it all, still carrying all that emotional baggage. So it's, I'd ask it to make even more specific to the burnout experience. Maybe, still carrying everyone else's baggage. Again, you need to work through these on your own to suit your own audience. And another one, you've done it all, now it's your turn. So again, these are all different headlines that it's come up with for this ad that suits the new profile that I provided AI in the prompt. So you've done it all, now it's your turn. I see where they're going with this. It's kind of a classic copy move here. So it's acknowledgement, you've done it all, and then followed by empowerment, now it's your turn. It's like rah, rah, right? You can see this as a landing page, maybe for like a midlife coach kind of thing. It speaks directly to the internal narrative. Like, I've put myself last for years. I've heard that all the time. I used to hear that a lot from my clients who are women over 50, and I'm done raising my kids. Now it's my turn. So they'd probably relate to that. I would maybe add something unexpected. So you've done it all. Now it's your turn. Maybe something like a mini rebellion twist, like now it's your turn. And then maybe a third sentence, like something about do it. And here's the thing with copy is you really can't do it off the top of your head. So these I've I've decided what works kind of while I was doing it, but to actually sit down and work with this would take a little while longer. But to add like a little rebellious twist at the end of that, like, what are you going to do now that it's your turn, would be awesome. And then the last one I came up with is, burnout isn't who you are. Let's rewrite the story. So now they're getting into the identity of the person. So burnout, if people say, oh, I'm a burnout. So now you took that on as your personality. So you don't want to do that. So this is huge in behavior-based copy. So the idea that burnout, is a chapter, not the book kind of thing. So that's powerful. And I'd explain, how to build like a full story off of that whole angle. You really need to get into it a little bit more. So then, what did it get right? And how to use this in your own work. So these are always jumping off points. It's like whenever you ask AI to brainstorm, with you, which I do quite a bit, by the way, you need to just sit back, list them all, see what works, go back to your value proposition for you or for your client, whoever you're working for, and then think about what would work best. And then, of course, testing. But I would narrow it down to like 3. So just to quickly review what the headlines were, you don't have to push anymore. You just have to start. So that was in place of the copy for this. And this would be for women over 40 who are burned out. You've carried everyone, now carry yourself. Burnout ends where you begin. Still carrying it all, drop the weight, rise again. You've done it all, now it's your turn. That's similar to the one previously. Burnout isn't who you are, let's rewrite the story. So each one has a different emotional impact. And so how do you use this in your own work? You want to use AI in these ways to take an ad that you think, okay, I like this. It sounds like it would relate to my audience. Analyze or ask AI to analyze the tone, the style, the call to action, and the emotional hooks, like I did in that initial prompt. And then you want to have it recreate 3 variations or 3 to 6, like this was 6, with your product and message. And then third, ask it to remix the tone. So now rewrite this in a playful voice, for example, or make this for a B2B audience is another example, and see what it comes up with. So my challenge for you is to take your favorite ad. So take one that's maybe been on your vision board or your swipe file, or find one on Pinterest. They're all over the place, and ask AI to break it down in this way. So the whole idea is that swipe files are not dead. They just are usually not getting used the way they could be used in this way. So have AI step in, reverse engineer it for you so that you have more than a swipe file, but you actually have a way to kick off your copy for an ad or copywriting that you may be doing for a client. So if you enjoyed this episode, please share it with a copywriter or marketing friend who is still hoarding swipes like it's 2001. All right. So thanks so much for listening, and I'll see you next week.